Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today. Look, if you're a 7th grader here in the US who's just stepping up to the starting line of your Chinese language journey, well, you're in exactly the right spot. Today, we're mapping out something huge. We're going to break down your multi-year path through the language curriculum, focusing heavily on the HSK pathway and those foundational 5 C's of language learning. My goal? To give you a super clear map of where you're starting and, honestly, the amazing places you can go with this language. So let's jump right in.
Here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we've got the Language Learner's Compass, followed by the ACTFL 5 Cs. Then, we'll check out your Chinese course options. After that, we dive into HSK levels, the basics, and we'll wrap up the whole shebang with HSK levels Advanced Fluency. All right, starting off with Section 1, the Language Learner's Compass. So before we talk about courses, tracks, or vocabulary lists, I want you to ask yourself one essential question. How does language learning actually connect culture, identity, and community? You know, learning Chinese, it's not just about cramming flashcards or passing a Friday quiz. No way. This whole journey, it's about real-world intercultural communication. It's about figuring out how to express your identity to someone on the other side of the planet, understanding their world, and eventually building a solid bridge between two totally different communities. That right there, that's your true compass. Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, the ACTFL 5 Cs. Now, the ACTFL standards, basically the gold standard for language learning in the US, they're built on 5 core pillars. We're talking communication, cultures, connections, comparisons, and communities. And here's the thing. Nailing these outcomes means you won't just be speaking Chinese, you'll actually be able to confidently compare cultural practices, make these awesome connections across different subjects, and genuinely use the language for real-world tasks in global communities. This is literally the bedrock of everything you'll be doing from right now in 7th grade all the way to graduation. Okay, let's look at the practical side of things in Section 3, your Chinese course options. The big takeaway here is that you've got choices. There are 2 main tracks for grades 7 through 12. You've got the standard track, which is pretty straightforward. It just progresses linearly from Chinese I all the way up through Chinese V. But then you have the specialized HSK track, covering HSK 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, both of these tracks are going to challenge you for sure, but that HSK track aligns with a massive international standard, which probably has you thinking, what exactly is HSK anyway?
Well, let's define it. HSK stands for Han Yu Shui Ping Kaoshi. Try saying that 3 times fast. But seriously, this isn't just your standard midterm. It's a national, standardized test that focuses specifically on the ability of non-native speakers to communicate in Chinese for life, study, and work. I really want to emphasize that last part. Life, study, and work. This isn't about testing grammar rules in some isolated bubble. It's measuring your actual practical ability to thrive in everyday, real-world situations. And that leads us straight into Section 4, HSK levels, the basics. Under the new HSK 3.0 standards, there are 9 levels total. I actually kind of like to think of these early stages like leveling up in a video game, you know? At HSK 1, you're tackling daily life. Think basic greetings, maybe ordering some food. But watch what happens at HSK 2. The scenarios expand. Suddenly, you're using the language for basic communication across life, study, and work. Hit HSK 3, and that communication becomes genuinely effective. By the time you conquer HSK 4, you're not just getting by anymore. You're holding complete, coherent conversations across all those scenarios without missing a beat. Your world just completely opens up.
Moving on to the upper tiers, we have Section 5, HSK levels Advanced Fluency.
Once you master those basics, the climb gets even more exciting. In these upper levels, the whole game changes. At HSK 5 and 6, you're stepping into complex academic and workplace environments with rich, fluent language. And if you go all the way to the top, HSK 9, we're talking precise, in-depth mastery across all scenarios. Meaning, you could literally walk into a corporate boardroom or a university lecture in China and hold your own like a total pro. That is absolute mastery. So what does this timeline actually look like for you? Well, if you're starting today in year 1, your target is level 1, those simple life scenario chats. Fast forward a bit to, say, year 3, and you could be crushing level 4 with complete, coherent communication. Look even further down the road, year 6 and beyond, and you're aiming for that level 9 precise, in-depth mastery. Just starting today puts you on a direct path to navigating the globe with serious confidence.
But let's take a step back. What is the ultimate goal here? It's really to reflect on intercultural communication and use this language for actual real-world tasks.
The tests, the levels, the tracks, honestly, they're just tools. They're just stepping stones to help you lock in those ACTFL 5Cs we talked about earlier. The real victory is being able to connect with another community, compare cultures, and communicate when it actually counts.
Which brings us to one final thought to leave you with. As you sit here right now, a 7th grader just about to step onto the path toward level 1, what real-world cultural connections do you actually hope to make? Who do you want to talk to? What do you really want to understand out there? Keep that vision front and center, because this roadmap we mapped out today, it's exactly how you're going to get there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and good luck on your incredible language journey.